Welcome to my channel Ranjin Jun, a unique place where all colorful knowledge and ideas take shape. Give a big like, share this video and hit the subscribe button. Welcome everybody. A short presentation about the types and properties of water and its management has been presented here. Relax and enjoy. Water. Water's such a nice, splendid, and refreshing liquid to satisfy and quench our thirst and hunger. We can adjust with other things in our daily life, but can we live for a single day without water? Absolutely not. God has created and devised such a wonderful element of nature for our needs and usage, for the purpose of proper living and sustenance of mankind. But are we really maintaining our water resources in a proper way? There are a host of activities with which you can do with water. All the important activities in humans' daily life depends heavily on the usage of water, right from drinking, washing, bathing, toilet usage and other applications. Water is the most important ingredient in our daily life, just as air is truly vital for survival purposes. Water is also used in various industrial applications and scientific purposes. Source of water. Have you ever wondered as to from where we get all these sources of water? We get water from various sources as ponds, rivers, lakes, streams, waterfalls, groundwater, tap water, and so on. Our natural resources, particularly as oceans, play an important role in the supply of water. Other sources as rivers, lakes, and others also help in the management of water source. All these things are possible due to the factor of water recycling in nature in the form of water cycle. Water vapor. You must have noticed that water automatically dries coming in contact with air and or sunlight. Water gets converted into vapor due to the process of heating, as in this case water gets evaporated coming with the contact of sunlight. Water vapor constantly and regularly gets added into air. Plants also lose some of their water in the form of water vapor through process of transpiration. This water vapor enters into the air by evaporation and transpiration. Cloud formation. You must have seen white, grayish or black chunks of formations in the sky, which move with the passage and flow of wind. These wonderful formations present themselves in form of clouds and are very much responsible for rainfall or precipitation, as we would like to call it. Water vapor present in the cool air in high elevations condenses to form tiny droplets of water, which emerges as floating objects in the form of clouds. Clouds are visible masses or droplets of ice crystals suspended into the atmosphere. The primary mechanism of cloud formation is the cooling of moist air as it rises up to great heights. Air expands due to low atmospheric pressure due to gain of altitude. This expansion helps to cool itself. Due to the cooling of air, the capacity to hold water vapor is decreased and it attains the level to form saturation point. It occurs in the form of 100% of relative humidity. All tiny particles as dust, pollen, salt and pollutants present in the atmosphere provide surfaces of water vapor for process of condensation. When the saturated air cools below its dew point, the water vapor condenses around these condensation nuclei and forms microscopic liquid water droplets. Water vapor can directly convert into ice nuclei at very low temperatures of below zero, eventually to form ice crystals. Cloud droplet growths occur in form of tiny individual cloud droplets ranging to very small range UPTO micrometers. They also grow through collisions with other droplets. Large droplets in warmer clouds fall faster and clash against small droplets and merge to form larger ones, fasting the process of condensation. Ice crystals grow at the expense of supercooled water droplets in mixed-phase cloud combination, ice crystals and water droplets. This process speeds the activity of growth and precipitation. There are several types of clouds as of cumulus, stratus, nimbus, cirrus. All types of cloud formations depends upon the factors of atmospheric conditions, altitude, and temperature. Clouds play an important role in the water cycle process. They act as a source of temporary storage for condensed water before the activity of precipitation. Water cycle. The continuous movement of water on, above, and below the surface of Earth is referred to as water cycle. The sun's radiation provides the energy to start the entire water cycle and is primarily solar energy driven. The solar energy heats the surface water of oceans, lakes, and rivers, causing water molecules to gain energy and finally transforming them into water vapor. The moisture in the soil and on the land surface also evaporates into the atmosphere. Transpiration process also occurs when plants absorb water by their roots and release water vapor through small pores, stomata, present in their leaves into the atmosphere. Evapotranspiration occurs as a combined process of evaporation from surfaces and transpiration from plants. The advection process or vapor transport occurs when atmospheric currents and winds transport water vapor horizontally across the globe. Atmospheric lifting mechanism starts when moist air is lifted into cooler regions of the atmosphere through convection. Warm, less dense air rises. Orographic lifting, air is forced upward by mountains. Frontal lifting, warm air rises over cooler, dense air masses. Convergence, air masses flow together and are forced upwards. When the lifted air expands due to lower pressure, it cools without losing heat to its surroundings as a result of adiabatic cooling. When the rising cooling air reaches its dew point, water vapor condenses into liquid droplets or deposits into ice crystals around condensation nuclei. The aggregation of these billions of tiny droplets or crystals form visible cloud formations. Water droplets or ice crystals within clouds grow sufficiently large enough to overcome air resistance and occur in the form of precipitation or rainfall. Precipitation occurs in the form of rainfall, snowfall, partially frozen rain and hail as ice pellets. All the forms of precipitation falls back to the surface of Earth in different forms and types. Some precipitation is engulfed by vegetation before reaching the ground. A part of water falls onto the surface in oceans, lakes, rivers, and lakes. Water that seeps down from the land make way or surface into the soil in the form of infiltration. The downward movement of infiltrated water through soil and layers of rocks replenishes the groundwater in the form of percolation. Water infiltrated moves laterally underground in slow motion and eventually discharge into springs, rivers, lakes, and oceans. Water falling horizontally just beneath the land surface, often above a less permeable layer, moves towards the streams. Water is stored temporarily in the form of oceans, lakes, rivers, glaciers, snowpacks, and groundwater aquifers. a significant amount of precipitation eventually returns to the oceans, thus completing the process of water cycle. The water cycle is a dynamic, continuous process which is constantly moving and transferring water into various regions and locations. Rainwater management. All strategies and practices to control, use, and dispose rainwater effectively to minimize harmful effects and maximize health benefits is the goal of rainwater management. Flood control lies at the core of primary objective to reduce and minimize the effects and impacts of flooding. Prevention of erosion activity related to soil erosion, especially in rural and urban areas. An aim to reduce pollution by minimizing the transport of pollutants by rainwater runoff into water bodies. Improving quality of water and techniques to filter and treat rainwater before it reaches natural systems or process of reuse, is very vital. An integrated approach to treat sustainable urban drainage system to manage rainfall, promote infiltration, attenuation, and water quality management is very important. Promotion of green infrastructure by utilizing natural landscapes and vegetation to manage storm water as green roofs, rain gardens and permeable pavements. Detention basins can be employed to adapt structures designed to temporarily hold storm water runoff and then releasing it slowly to reduce the impact of downstream flooding. Ponds designed to permanently hold a volume of water as retention ponds to act as stormwater management features. All pavements and other surfaces act as permeable surfaces that allow water to infiltrate ground, reducing the amount of runoff water. Shallow vegetated channels designed to convey and treat stormwater runoff can be applied in form of swales. All bioretention systems could be employed through landscape depressions that collect and filter stormwater, thus mimicking the process of natural hydrological systems. The amount of wastewater can be reduced by reducing the strain on conventional stormwater drainage systems and wastewater treatment plants. Groundwater recharge can be employed by promoting infiltration that will help to replenish groundwater tables. Climate change adaptation is very vital for adapting to changing rainfall patterns and increased intensity as a result of rapid climate changes. Rainwater harvesting. The collection and storage of rainwater from surfaces as rooftops, land surfaces or rock catchments for future use. It was practiced from the ancient times and was revived in the modern times due to shortage and scarcity of water. Rooftop harvesting can be applied to collect rainwater directly from rooftops, which could be a common method for everyday domestic use of water. Surface runoff harvesting can be done by collecting water flowing over land surfaces, often from non-permeable areas or designated catchment zones. Components to drive the system includes catchment area, conveyance system, gutters, downspouts, first flush diverter, filter, and storage tank system. A first flush diverter is a device that diverts the initial flow of rainwater containing debris and pollutants away from the storage system. Filtration factor includes screens, sand filters or slash and other methods to clear impurities from collected water. Storage tanks include cisterns, tanks of overground or underground nature or even recharging groundwater aquifers. This processed water through filtration and other applications can be used for potable water after proper filtration, non-potable form in washing, laundry, garden, toilets, and also for agricultural needs. A relieved sense of reduced reliance on municipal water paves the way for decreased dependence on public water supply, especially in water shortage areas. Techniques like recharge pits and trenches direct harvested water into the ground to replenish aquifers. Rainwater harvesting can reduce the amount of water bills and provide a good source of non-potable water uses, thus providing a good decentralized water system. Rainwater harvesting offers a wide range of environmental benefits in the form of reduced stormwater runoff, soil erosion, and pollution of natural bodies. Rainwater harvesting enhances water security for communities, particularly in drought-prone areas. The technique of rainwater harvesting can be implemented using very simple and low-cost technologies, suitable for various uses. Groundwater formation. Groundwater is water located beneath the Earth's surface in soil pore spaces and in the fractures of rock formations. Primary source of groundwater is rain and snow that melts and infiltrates the ground. The infiltrated water then percolates and gets down through the unsaturated zone by the effect of gravity. Unsaturated zone is the area above water table where soil pores has both air and water. Saturated zone is the area below the water table where all soil pores and rock fractures are completely filled with water. Water table is the upper surface of the saturated zone that fluctuates with precipitation and groundwater extraction. Aquifers are permeable geological formations that can store and transmit significant quantities of groundwater. Aquitards and aquicludes are impermeable and semi-permeable layers that restricts the flow of groundwater. A confined aquifer is an aquifer overlain by an aquitard under pressure. Water in a well drilled into a confined aquifer may rise above the top of an aquifer, also known as artesian well. An unconfined aquifer is an aquifer, whose upper boundary is a water table and is directly connected to the surface. Recharge areas are those areas where surface water infiltrates and replenishes groundwater. Discharge areas are those areas where groundwater flows out to the surface as springs, river, lakes or oceans. Groundwater can remain underground for days and years to go. Many contaminants are naturally filtered out as water percolates through rock and soil. Groundwater is as precious as expensive, just like any other precious commodity. Here comes the aspect of groundwater management, as management through effective means is the key base of continued supply of groundwater for years to come. Groundwater management. Sustainable yield of groundwater refers to managing extraction rates that does not exceed the natural recharge rate, thus ensuring long-term availability of water. Regularly monitoring groundwater levels, quality, and extraction rates using observation wells does the job. Groundwater recharge process by deliberately augmenting groundwater by directing surface water into aquifers. Artificial recharge process by recharge pits, trenches, spreading basins and injection wells. Integration of surface water and groundwater resources to maximize the out ratio and minimize the impact of shortage of water. Implementing measures to combat contamination of aquifers from sources like agricultural layoff, industrial wastage, and landfills. Establishing regulation and legal standards for groundwater abstraction, quality standards, and protected recharge zones will help the process of management of groundwater. Process of demand management, where strategies are implemented to reduce water demand, thus reducing the need for groundwater extraction. Encouraging efficient use of water in all sectors to reduce the need of groundwater. Identifying and protecting critical groundwater recharge areas from developmental activities that could impair water quality or quantity. Some remediation plans to develop and clean up the process of contaminated groundwater plumes. An option of implementing aquifer storage and recovery to pump treated surface water into aquifers during times of surplus and recovery mode in times of need. creating public awareness about the importance of management of groundwater and addressing the efficient use of groundwater resources across all boundaries of human interface, will be a worthwhile process in this regard. Conservation of water. Household purposes. Careful and efficient use of water to ensure long-term availability to prevent degradation and depletion of water is termed as water conservation. Sustainable management of water is related to manage fresh water resources to meet current and future needs of water and ecosystem. An endeavor should be made to eliminate usage of unnecessary amount of water in various places of use. Fixing leaks as of leaky faucets/pipes and irrigation systems can manage unwanted application of water usage. Usage of water-efficient appliances can manage water resources very well. Using low-flow shower heads and aerators on faucets can ease the problem of water depletion. Using drought-tolerant plants and application of low irrigation systems on certain landscapes can solve the problem of water wastage. Certain methods as of drip irrigation system, application of water directly on roots, minimizing evaporation, and runoff in agriculture can speed up the process of water conservation. Recycling and reuse of wastewater for treatment in non-potable uses like irrigation or industrial uses will certainly help in conservation of water. Educating individuals about usage of water will awaken individuals. Improving quality standards and implementing policies and regulations for water efficiency will certainly help. Tracking areas to identify maximum usage of water will greatly help. Protecting water quality and prevention of water pollution will manage the problem of water wastage. Process of evaporation can be minimized by putting covers on ponds, planting windbreaks, and irrigation practices in cooler parts of day. Best practices in agriculture can be employed by optimizing irrigation schedules, selecting efficient crops and using soil motion sensors. Usage of energy-efficient star-rated washing machines and dishwashers and using them only when they are loaded to their maximum capacity, will help to conserve water usage. Efficient use of water by collecting cold water while waiting for warm water will manage for efficient use of water. Defrosting food safely by using thaw food in the refrigerator overnight instead of using running water. Using a compost bin instead of garbage disposal will evidently save water. Consider using gray water system to manage water from sinks, showers and laundry appliances. Outdoor purposes. Watering lawns and gardens in cooler parts of day to minimize evaporation. Using drip irrigation and soaker hoses to deliver water directly to roots. Employ the use of drought-resistant plants which need minimum water. Applying layer of mulch to retain soil moisture and suppress any weeds. Avoid overwatering to manage water. Check the position of sprinklers to maintain excess of water usage. Collect rainwater from downspouts to manage water irrigation process. Usage of sweep process instead of hose to clean sideways and walkways. Wash cars on a permeable surface like grass patterns or use vices that recycles water usage. Employ the usage of pool covers to minimize the process of evaporation. Employ the method of recycle and reuse to manage water usage. Identification of water leaks and faulty water supply systems. Using efficient irrigation systems, soil moisture monitoring and recycling of tailwater systems to conserve water. That's all, folks. We vehemently need to check the usage of present water resources to manage the needs of water for our future days. A drop of water saved today will probably save the world for tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Like, share and subscribe to this channel.